Hello everybody and welcome. This is Danny Boy here, the Doric Gamer. Now, I actually recorded this episode. This is episode 3 of our Transport Fever gameplay, and we are back in the USA. Now, I did actually record this earlier and then realised that there was something wrong with my mic and you couldn't actually hear me speaking. So I'm actually doing a commentary here, so forgive me if this seems a bit stupid. My voice might not match up with exactly if it's happening on screen, but there was something wrong with my computer today and a lot of things fucked up, so I will just take a roll with it. But anywho, here we are looking at our lines. Most of them are in profit except for the Sioux City Falls line. Now I can see here we're at 18. I started it at 1857 in December, and the new train should be coming out in 1858. So as this train's rocking up to the station, I think it comes in. So he's rolling up there. Yes, here we go. So the general came in at 1858, and the first thing we did is, as soon as he unloaded his passengers, we fired him back into the depot and got the general straight onto the front of the train. I also added another carriage because down here at Sioux Falls it does seem like demand was asking for it. Not so much up at the Independence side, but we'll just take to see how that plays out later on in the video. Now the train came into the depot. I had plenty of money. I had 750k. So we're making plenty of money, paid off a bit of my loan, and then went and bought the train, added another carriage. So I actually sold the previous train. I was going to keep it to run a line up and down from Sioux Falls to Independence, but I ended up scrapping that idea and just sold the train anyway, and because I came up with a new plan, which you will see later on in the video. So that train's going. I bought the new train. Pardon me. And set its colour to yellow. Now it's 45 miles an hour faster that I can see here than 45 kilometers an hour, sorry. Bought another carriage, stuck him onto the back, then set him back in his line, and then sent him back out. Now, as predicted, as you're about to see here, as soon as I'm set him back out onto the line, he ended up going the wrong fucking direction. Now, I reckon why the game does this. I reckon why it sends it. I understand why it doesn't just send it to its closest station. It seems to send it a fucking mile away before it even does anything. So we turned him around to go back into the station, and then I think this is far I went on to start getting on about my new plan. Now, my new plan is going to be ships, and it's going to be to deal with these oil refineries that I'm about to go to in a minute. So down here, the oil refinery at Sioux Falls. So we're going to build a dock here, and then go up here to the oil refinery at Independence, and then across here to the right to Carlsbad, and we're going to deliver fuel to the industries in Carlsbad. Now I've cheated a bit. I've stuck a bit of track down there to stop the AI from building any buildings, so that when I come to build my docks, I'll be able to just fire it straight in there. So it is kind of cheating, but if I didn't do that, the AI would have built buildings and I would have had to demolish a shit ton of buildings, and it would have cost me a fortune, money that I didn't have. So back here, and I think this is actually for a work out the cost. So I put a dock down, a cargo dock. That's actually a passenger in, but they're both relatively the same price, and it worked out at 200,000, and it pretty much worked out at 200,000 for all three of them. So to build the 3 docks I need 600,000, and I'm pretty sure that the ships were about 200,000. I think there's a new ship comes out in 1860 that is an oil tanker. So, and I think it's 220 or 250. So, and here we are. So I decided that I would need at least $1 million to implement that plan. Now we're having a look at our train. I noticed as soon as I added that carriage on, demand for both sides of the line sort of went down. So it was not really running with a full load, which was a bit of a bummer. But it does pick up later on in the game. And then we fast forwarded it there up to ×3 just to get the game moving. So there's Sioux Falls line. I'm not sure why, but there doesn't seem to be much demand for passengers for the little city line, but I'm not sure why that was, but it does pick up later on in the game, so that is a boost. Now our Independence line was pretty busy, and I decided that I was going to add a 4th carriage to it. I was only going to add a 4th carriage in 1865 once the lifespan of the horse and carriages that I've got sort of came to an end. Once they reached 100%, I was going to replace the vehicles and add a 4th carriage on a line. So yeah, here we go. So we're looking at our train again. It's a nightmare when you're recording a video and your mic doesn't work. It's just a total pain in the arse, because I remember recording this, but I cannot remember exactly if I said at the time of recording it. So I was thinking about another plan, a building, taking oil for an oil well up to an oil refinery using trucks, but the horses and carts are a bit slow, so I think I'll wait for some sort of mechanised road vehicle in order to do that, to bring the oil up for an oil well to an oil refinery, and probably build a road in between so it's a bit more straighter and it's a bit more quicker, because I think I go here and click on the contour, yep, and it is a bit hillier, and it would just slow, that little hill there, I'll just slow down any traffic that's on there. So I was looking for something a bit more faster before I start that. Now here we go. I think I go to start building my docks here. I can't actually remember. So I've just sort of frozen out for some reason, and it's gone. So, but I decided anyway that I would need at least $1 million to start building that docks and implement that plan. So basically, the next 10 minutes of the video, I think, was just me waiting for money to roll in so that I could bankroll it. But as you can see here, our little train, it hits its top speed at 45 kilometers an hour, and it stays like that for pretty much the whole journey. So that's exactly what I was looking for, so it can run back and forth nice and quickly, making money, which it seems to do quite well. Even though I didn't last carriage, it doesn't really go with much of a full load, but that's just the way it is. So we'll watch him rocking up, and I think I seen actually did say a full load. So we're just checking how much people were left at the station, and no, it's not got a full load. So it's basically just a waiting game. I think that's what I was doing. Now see, this is our new ship. The new ship came in, it is a 1862 and or 1863, I can't remember, and I actually found out later on that it is the Zero Oyster and it is an oil tanker. So that is perfect, exactly for what I was wanting to do later on when it came to building my my ship route. So I've noticed I've got 508k in the bank, so I'm not sure how long it actually takes me to get. The video lasts for about half an hour because I remember recording it and that was the time, and I'm just doing a commentary over the top of it. As I said before, my mic for some reason never picked up my voice, which was a bit of a disaster. And then by the time I'd finished ending up recording this message, so I think I go here and repay. I've just repaid back some of my loan. Not sure if that was a good idea, but at least it keeps that interest rates down. So as I was saying before, I've actually had to come on here after the recording and do a commentary. So it's a bit weird, but we're muddling through it. So I think here is where I'm explaining for other lines I was going to do. I was going to do a ferry service for Frisco and connect that two towns, but this bridge was in the road and ships can't pass under it, and I didn't really want to go demolishing bridges and building new bridges. It seems a bit expensive, and I just didn't think, because that buildings are there, I would have to move the bridge, because if I try to place the bridge in there, it would try to delete those buildings. It would have cost me a fortune. So that was one of the ideas was ahead, was a passenger ferry, but that plan got knocked in heed, and I ended up going for my oil route with the ships. So we're still sort of hovering about here, waiting for more money to come in, and checking and see. Before I put carriage on, there were heaps of people waiting at the station. Okay. And now that I've added the carriage on, there's not enough people waiting, so I think it does actually sort itself later on in the game. So a little train's running along. So he's going along here. We've got 256k in the bank at this moment, and I think this is what I was going on about if else I'd like to do in the future, which would be running lines down to these towns, to Scottsdale and all the rest. There is actually potential to do that lines because the land around there is quite flat, so that was one of the things I went on about in the video, which I will go over again in the next video, just as soon as I make sure my mic is recording before I fucking start the episode, because this was a total nightmare, because I saved the game and it actually overwrit the last save I had, and in my stupidity I went and deleted the autosaves and then went to fire my video into Sony Vegas and realised that it hadn't actually recorded my voice. It recorded everything else, just not my voice. And then when I went to check my mic, the lead at the back of it, the connector, was, I just moved it a tiny touch and then it started working again. I was moving stuff about earlier on this morning, so maybe it just detached, came out a little bit. So that was a bit of a bummer. And as I say, it's a nightmare doing commentary in this because I can't remember if I said or if it was doing the first time. But pretty much just watching her train until I get up to 1 million. I'm pretty sure once I get to 1 million I do actually start building the line. So I think this is just the part. See, here is where I decided that I was going to add that fourth carriage onto the line. So I think I go in here and set up my vehicles, because the carriages only have a 15-year lifespan, so I set them at auto replace. So I've selected my vehicle, selected the colour of their lines, and then set them auto replace as soon as they hit 100%. and I decided that in the Independence line, which was making the most money and there was quite a big demand for passengers, that I would add a fourth carriage, but I was only going to do that in 1865 once the other three renewed. So when I add that fourth in to the line, when I go to replace those four vehicles, they will all roughly be the same age later on. I'm pretty sure by the time it comes to replace in the next 15 years time, there will be some sort of motorised vehicle will appear, so they'll all be getting scrapped anywho. So our money's coming up. We're back up to 508. If I hadn't paid back 500,000 of my loan earlier on, I could probably have started building the ship line just now. But again, hindsight is a wonderful thing. I didn't really think about that at the time. I just thought, yay, I'm paying back this loan, so. But we'll see how that gets on. I'm pretty sure I do get to 1 million. I just can't remember fan, and then I start building it. And then, so here again, our Sioux Falls line is actually starting to make money. And even coming up to the end of the game, it normally dips in and out of profit, but for some reason, even at the end of this episode, it was still in profit. So I'm not sure exactly if it changed there. I think it's because the new train's a bit faster, so it can deliver passengers down to Sioux Falls, and they'll have constant passengers all the time, with people coming off the train and going into the bus station. So here's our little general. He looks pretty fucking hideous with that yellow paint job I've got on it. Maybe change up the colour of the lines later on. So I think he's got a full load here, and I was just checking to make sure how much he actually made for a full load. So we're at 700,000. I'm pretty sure it's not long to go to start building. And we've already set our lines, well, at least the horse and cart lines to replace at 1865. So hopefully they will do that. I'm pretty sure they do that. And I think when I was recording this, I was a bit worried that I was going to wait for the lines to replace before actually building the ship route, because I wasn't sure if I'd have enough money. But I think the line replaces, and it turns out that I've actually got fucking heaps of money, so it doesn't really come into effect. So really what I should have done is never repaid that loan, and as soon as I hit 1 million, started building, the ships would have been able to get going, and I would have still have been able to replace the vehicles when the time came for it. But this is so weird trying to commentate because I've no idea what I'm going to do next. So I've obviously gone up here to check the station at Independence. For some reason, demand for passenger demand at Independence went up, and the demand at Sioux Falls sort of went down. So it was sort of weird, because at the start of the episode, demand at Sioux Falls was up and demand at Independence was down. So I'm not sure exactly how that works, but hey ho, that's the way the game is. Now, here I'm at 733, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to start. Yeah, I am. So I start here, build my road up, build my road across. Maybe. I'm pretty sure I do. No, I build the... See, I've got the right cargo terminal. So, now, a bit of advice here. It's probably better to connect, to mark up a road first, and then connect your dock to it. That way, as soon as you connect that dock to the road, it shows you its catchment area. If you just plunk down a harbour and it's got no road connected to it, you can't see where its catchment area is, which is nae bad for this oil well and this oil refinery, because they're right next to the river, and I was almost pretty sure that even if I plunked in doing without a road, that it would still be in a catchment area. So I think I do it again here. So if I'd plunked that down and that oil refinery wasn't in a catchment area, I would have had to delete it and then rebuild it, and it would have cost me a fortune, and I would have been pretty fucking screwed. So I'm just glad that it did actually work. But normally when they're that close to the river, if you place a harbour down, it should be okay. Now here I am, come to delete my trap barrier. Now it's perfect here as well, because the industry section of Carlsbad is right here. It's all down here at the waterfront. So all I really need to do now is fire in a dock, which I do here. Just try to straighten up and fire in a road. And then as soon as I click on it, all the industry lights up. So that's a good sign. That's exactly fair wanting. So the industries accept fuel, and as soon as a ship turns up with fuel there, it will deliver it to her. So, and then I think here I go build my depot. So we're into ships. Here we go. Here's the depot. Now every time I go to build something, it's facing the fucking wrong direction. Why is that? I mean, obviously, like when you build train depots and stuff, it's every time you click it, it comes out and it's facing the opposite direction for the section of track you want to attach it. So here's the Zero Star. It carries crude oil, and fuel, which is perfect. It's exactly what we're needing. And I think it carries 60, so I'm not sure what I'm waiting for here. Oh, I'm waiting for my money to go up. They're 225 each. So I think I was waiting for at least 500,000, so I could buy two of them at the same time. So that's the money going in. So the money starts coming in, and soon I'm sure I'll be building. Pretty sure I'll hit the boats soon. Now that train's got a full load, and it basically is almost a full load for most of the journey. Most of the game after this. So that takes the money up pretty fast. I've got it set in 3 times speed. I did actually, when I was doing my commentary during the recording, while I was recording, I did apologise for running it at 3 times speed. But the reason for that is the first 20 years of gameplay are rather slow. I mean, you only have the one train for about 10 years. It's pretty slow. You can only really afford to do one line. And you've really just to fast forward it in order to get things going. That's the only way you'll get through the game. But our money's starting to come up now, so I'm pretty sure I do buy up boats sometime soon. The 424. I think I'm actually waiting here to see if these vehicles replace, because I didn't want to buy the ships and then have the vehicles replaced at the same time, or I wouldn't have enough money. So our train's getting back 56 of 56. So it's going down. I'm not sure what I'm doing here. I should have just got on with it and built a ship. So, what am I actually waiting for? I can't actually remember what I was waiting for here. I'm just sort of dicking about waiting to get to 500,000. Or, if I'm not waiting for 500,000, I'm waiting for the vehicles to auto-replace. Which is kind of stupid. I probably should have just got on with it. But, I promise you there will be boats by the end of this episode. So I think once this train reaches the end of Independence, it gives me enough money and I start building boats. Or at least I hope so. Because it was getting a full load going back and forth all the time. So lifespan, I am waiting for the vehicles to replace, because I just checked the age of that horse and cart just now. So, I think they do auto replace soon. I can't remember if I actually see it. I think I go and click on another vehicle and it just goes back to 0. And that way I can, it's auto replaced. So we're clicking this in.
Hey!
No. Obviously clicked on a person, the driver. I'm pretty sure once this thing goes into the station it just replaces. Details, 0 months. So here's for I add the 4th carriage onto the line. As I say, I can't remember exactly what I was doing when I recorded this. It's a total bummer that my mic never recorded. But running a commentary, it's not like running something like Call of Duty or Battlefield for you can actually remember what you did. This is just like totally surreal, so but we're getting through it. So I'm pretty sure all the vehicles auto replaced. So I was waiting for them auto replace. We're back up to 500,000. I added that 4th carriage onto the line. And then here we go to buy our ships. So I think I set one to black. Crude oil. So with these ships you have to actually, you can set them to automatic, but I once did that before and instead of picking up like fuel at the oil refinery, it was set to crude oil. So it was a bit of a pest. One ship was dropping off crude oil and the other one was just coming back and picking up crude oil and taking it to Carlsbad, which didn't accept crude oil, so it was a fucking pest. But here we've got them set. So we've got our crude oil going down to the refinery Independence. And then here's our first ship. So I told you, I did promise ships by the end of this episode, and ships there are. So our first ship was bought. And then I think we were waiting for our money to come up again, back up to past 225,000 in order to get the second ship. So as you can see, our ships are really slow. Can't actually afford to buy the second ship. I think I was looking for our train. See, our train's about to mark a delivery here, and as soon as it does, we'll be able to buy it. So I think I was waiting for that to go into the station. As soon as that's in the station, I'm pretty sure I'll go in and fire on the second ship. So as this ship's first gets in, obviously the line hasn't been established, so there's obviously zero waiting. But as soon as this ship goes and turns around to go away, I did notice that it starts firing oil in. It's actually fired oil in. You can see in the background behind the ship that it's got oil. So it does actually leave, and then here's our fuel. Set it for fuel. I've coloured it red because, well, the red icon, the red fire icon for fuel is sort of matching. So we've set its line. So it's Independence fuel. Then we'll set it to go for the refinery Independence down to Carlsbad. And then he should come out of the depot. So that was pretty much it for that episode. I just wanted to get that ship line on a go, and I wanted to get these two ships out and get them going. So I managed to do it. So I pretty much, in a space of about 9 years, I managed to get $1 million. I managed to make $1 million with just that one train line. So I've noticed there I've just sent that in back because I noticed there was oil waiting. And then it does load in a wee bit more oil and then goes down and makes its first delivery. So that's pretty much it for that episode. I apologise that this commentary was probably pretty shit, but it would have probably been better if my mic was working. So if somebody does watch this, please leave a like or a comment, and if you'd like to see what happens with these Titanics that I've just bought, then you should subscribe so you can tune into the next episode. I've been Danny Boy, cheers for watching, and catch you later.